And can you see my screen? How many people join? Ratana, can you take the attendance of everybody join? Because we need to keep track of who participate in the class in order to use as credit count toward the certification. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to Pragmatic Elixir API Development course. My name is Seth Kong. I'm the instructor. This course are meant to be interactive, which means that everyone is expected to participate, join discussion, and doing the practice as well. It's not a instructor dominant course. It means that everyone is supposed to be participate in self-learning and join the discussion. Okay, let's go. Pragmatics. What does pragmatic mean? Pragmatic. Pragmatic.
Practice and
Pragmatic means practical. Practical, which means that it's not theory, it's something that can be used in practice. It practical is not it's not just in theory. Okay. So okay, the content for the day is anonymous function, closure function, and pattern matching, high order function. Okay, and anonymous function and closure. First, we're gonna take a look at how we're gonna define anonymous function. That we call them signature. The definition of the how we define it, we call it a signature. You can call it anonymous function or lambda function. And we can take a look at the end notation, and we can discuss what is closure and why we are using it. Okay, let's take a look at demo. Okay, function. When we define function, you can use the keyword -n and then close it with the word and. And then you can have multiple body parameter list, and then you define the body of your function, what you do. So the parameter list is the input list, and then what you do with the input is we call the body. And you see this function is different than other language because it just one function, but you define multiple body. And you can have 5, 6 lines of it, and each line is its own function. If you were to define function in other language, you would have to define 5, 6 functions. But in Elixir, you just do one another function, and then you just have different set of parameter lists, and then different set of body. So when people call this function, it matches, try to match the parameter list with this list right here. If it my first line, it executed one. Is my second line, executed one. It could be 10 line, 20 line. So that's a very powerful feature of Elixir that allow you to do it. I have not seen any language that doing this. This is a very good feature that I like, because now I just get the input and try to define my function right away. And then as long as it's matched the parameter list, and then it execute that body for you. Okay, let's do one lambda function. Let's do a sum function. Okay, this is a mistake that I make, which is the thing it just Fn not Fa. Let me modify it quickly. Okay. Control Command Enter. Okay, sum function is, we just give them a parameter name called sum equal, and then the keyword hyphen, and then you can take a parameter list. So A and B is the parameter, and then you do a thin arrow, do an arrow, and then you define the body of the function, which is you want to do A plus B, or you can do whatever you like, it doesn't matter. And then you close the function with the word n. So now you have a function. This function has no name, you just define it and hold it to a variable, and you call it sum. It could be, it exists if you don't give it a name, it's fine too, but you don't have to call it. You have to put parentheses, call it n, but you assign it to a variable. You can call this variable what you like. So when we define function like this, we call lambda function or anonymous function. And then when you use it, you just use a sum, do a dot, and then you provide how many, what is the number of parameter that we need to pass in? 2, right? So we say the number of RT. RT is, we do forward slash. So you can give to people, you say sum forward slash 2. That's when you write in your documentations, because this sum function take 2 parameter. Okay, the greet function, greet, which is welcome, is a function that take no parameter and just print out the word hello. I mean, function can take 0, 1 or more parameter, right? But in this case, we don't take any input. You just say, hey, define a function, don't take any input, and then just print out, we use IO puts to print out the word hello, which is a string, and then we close that function. So when you call greet dot, and then you open parentheses, close parentheses, then it will print hello. Okay, let's do another function. F1 is a function that takes 2 parameter x and y, and then do the x times y, do the multiplication, right? Simple. And then do another function f2 is a function that takes no parameter and just return a constant, which is 99. Return the number 99. So you call it 100 times, still return 99. Okay, there's one more function here that we define. Another way to define it, we use the n, we call capture parameter. Captures notation. So you can define anonymous function using capture notation here. So you do a square. When you do an n, it's a function, and you open parentheses, close parentheses. That's a function, and then you do n1, the first parameter, time the first parameter. If you do n1 and time n2, then the first parameter times second parameter. But in this case, we define function 2, but we define it we're using a capture notation. So this is a different way to define anonymous function 2. So this a function that square that take 1 parameter and time itself. So when you time itself, it's square, right? 5 times 5, 5 square. 6 times 6 square, right? So we call this square. Let's take a look at another capture notation function. Add 1 equal capture captures operator. In Elixir, we just call them capture operator. And then the first parameter, take the first parameter plus 1. So this is a function that take an x and then get the x plus 1, right? Same thing, you just know how to read it and define it. so they're fairly easy, okay? Okay, so this is another capture parameter function. So round function is a capture notation function. We take the existing function from a float module called round and then pass in a parameter 1 and parameter 2. Yeah, so this version round function, we don't need to define. We borrow existing function and we just rename it to R and D. So this function, it already defined by Elixir standard library. We just take it, name it. The parentheses is optional. You can do capture notation, float dot round, take the first parameter, second parameter, pass into it. So when you call R and D function, it will call the math of float dot round function for you. So this is one way we use a lot in Elixir. We just alias the function with another name and then pass in the parameter in, you see that's the syntax we use. Any question before we going forward? Especially capture notation function. Probably you guys new to it.
Yes, then I also want to ask about capture is again. Can you explain about the like the second slide?
Just back by one slide, right? This one?
Yeah, the sphere.
The square, yeah. The square is a function that take one parameter x and take the x time itself. Yeah, so that's why we do n1 time itself, which means first parameter. You take the first parameter, and in this case, it only have one parameter because we only have n1, not n2, n3, whatever. So we just take x times x. It's a function that take x times x. So then the first n say I need a function. Define me a function. The n1 is the first parameter.
So if n1 first parameter, so we put n2, so
It's second parameter. This function will take two parameters.
but if it's n1, then it's same parameter.
Yeah, the same. Just put one parameter. You just need to pass in one parameter. We can practice it soon and then try it out to see how it works. Because okay, go back to here. Any more question before we keep going more? So I define a function called match n, and then I put the equal sign. So the ampersand denote a capture notation, which means that this is a function, and in this function, it's a regular expression function. So I'm using ZGL is a special magic in Elixir that we define it to to do something special. For example, regular expression here. So when you do tell the or, we define regular expression objects for you. So in this case, the regular expression will take a dot followed by one or more or zero or more character, and then if it's followed by the first parameter. Okay, you see that inside that is a first parameter, but that parameter is a string because we have a pound curly brace around it. The pound curly brace is what interpolate the string, right? When you want to interpolate the string, you use pound, open curly brace, parameter, and close it with curly brace. So when you see pound, open, close like that, that's a string. We want to display parameter in the string. We call interpolation. So right here, it's a regular expression, and the dollar sign denote that Okay, this string must be at the end of the word. Okay. So in regular expression, $ at the end mean we want to match it when the thing at the end of the character.
Yeah.
When it's not end of character, it's not match. So let's match cat with the word T. Will the T match the word cat?
Yes.
Yes, because T,
Okay.
yeah, it's the at the end of the word cat. And then let's match exclamation mark with the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna match.
Oh.
Okay, and then you go down and you do any question with this crazy syntax right here. Just hopefully it doesn't throw you up.
I think I got everything on the paper.
Okay.
Simple.
So now you learn to read code.
Yeah.
This is not bad. If you read assembly language, you look at this. This is like ABC.
Maybe.
Yeah, because one you study assembly language, which is harder than here, like 100 times, 1,000 times more. Then this one will come so easy, right? If you ever study reverse engineering and then you reverse engineer the binary code back into the assembly code and then into to assembly code into hex and then eventually eventually to back to your program. Those we call reverse engineering. That's for hacking. For example, if you play a game, you download the executable, install on your machine, and then you want to win this game every time. So you take that executable, reverse engineering it, extract you de-assembly it into assembly language, and then to a C++ code or whatever code, and you modify and recompile again. And when you play, you always win. And your character doing a lot of magic because you modify, you hack the gaming code. A lot of people doing that. I get a playing game, have a yeah, like there's somebody coming in and just wipe everyone out. So that's not real. But some hacker was playing with us, which is crazy. And they could do a lot of things too, you know. So hackers is dangerous. Okay. So keep going. We define a function called length. Length is a function that use existing function length. And then we just capture it with the capture parameter and then do a forward slash, say that this function take one parameter. If we take two, we will do slash forward slash 2, 3, whatever. So one over there is just denoting the number of parameter. We call it arity. The number of parameter, the keyword in Elixir and Erlang, we call arity. So arity in this case is 1. And then, but you see length, and then it take number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's not the number of arity. Number of arity is 1. We just take one list. The whole list is just one parameter, right?
Yeah.
So we just take one parameter, and then it will give you the number of element in the list. In this case, see, we define function from another existing function.
Oh,
Yeah. And let's say we have a function called S. S is a function that print out the string and take one parameter and print it out in there, interpolating that string. So our string was study and whatever you pass in. So when I call this function, I just pass in the word work. And then it will print out study and work. You see? Because when I put ampersand sign in front of anything, that thing become a function. That's in Elixir. That we call this capture notation function. Yeah, last time I gave you guys book, expect you guys to know it all, but I feel that this time is better that I show you guys, like, explain what I mean in this function, all that. When you know all this, you will love Elixir more than anything. So because it's
Easy.
easy, making sense. So study and whatever, first parameter. And then we just interpolate it with the pound and open and close curly braces, right? Next. All right. What is this? This is okay. This is a closure. I think it's closure. No, this is a module called example, and we create some function inside the module, and then we have a number of 3, right? And we return a function that print out that number. So this function does not return value. It return a function, but that function capture the variable number to it. So we call this closure. So closure is a function that capture parameter in its environment. You see, so in its environment that this function exists, this function doesn't have any name. You can give it a name here. We'll go back. So that function create another function inside it. You see here, we have a module, we have another function that create another function and returning it. And that function capture a variable that has a value of 3. So we call this closure. It exists in any language. So when people say, what is closure? What is your answer?
I think it's surrounding contact, is that right? If we
Closure is an anonymous function that capture
yes,
the surrounding context. Context means data existing around it, which is variables, variable that exists surrounding that when it defines. So we define this function. This function has no name. When we create some function, it give us function, and you could call it whatever you like. You can say x equal example dot creates some function. Now give you a function that print a number 3. You can call it like print 3, which is like display 3, whatever, right? Okay, so see here, when we use it, we say some function equal example create some function, and then eventually you call that function. The function dot open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Then it's called this function. Any question regarding closure? You don't understand the syntax?
Once we define a module and have a sample, then create a function. Define a function, create a function loop. And then
Yeah,
call it
because
again.
yeah, if you don't fully understand it, let me know. But this is to me, for me it's clear, but I'm not sure if you guys not clear, let me know. If you see it first time or something.
What are some practical use of this, of the closure?
Closure? It's very useful. Let's say you working with some data, right? And then in this data, we have a principal say, hey, you want to solve a problem, let the function that are closest to that has a knowledge of it solving it, because this function have knowledge of variable in context, which is number equal 3. If some other places in the program, we don't know about this. So if you define this function in this environment and then pass it out and somebody just call it, they don't need to have access to all this data. Yeah, because this is, we want to keep the function that trying to solve the problem with the knowledge that the function need to solve the problem. You don't want some function that's far away from the knowledge to solve the problem. You want some function that's close to the knowledge to solve the problem. In this case, this function that we create inside here have knowledge of its surrounding environment. And then when it call, those functions don't have access to this variable. But this function closure already captured. That's why it's called closure. It close out the window from the caller from knowing its environment. But when it call, it work. You just need to know my function. You don't need to know my environment. Yes, that's very useful, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good question. Keep going. Okay, let's define a variable called name equal invader, zim or whatever. It's just a variable, right? And then we define a function called print name. Print name is a function that take no input. However, it captures the variable name in its environment. So inputs name is a variable in its environment. So this is a close, sure, because it captures the surrounding data. And then when we call this print name, we don't pass in nothing, but it will print out invader zim. Okay, now we define the name again, invaders scooch or whatever, and then print name, it will print out the data. I'm not sure, maybe not print out the inside. Oh yeah, it will print out correctly. We test this out, shoot. So now it's your turn. I promise you that our next session will have like interactive session, not just me talking. So now we have using anonymous function closure. So you have 5 minutes to write one or two function, one anonymous function and one closure function that do something useful. And then you can present it back to me. Okay, the time, I give you guys like, what time is it now? You got like 15 minutes because it's our first exercise. 15 minutes is too long, but just two functions, but go ahead and have 15 minutes and do it. Take the Elixir terminal or whatever, and then you can share the screen and show to me your function and closure. Yeah, the topic of problem you're trying to solve is up to you. It could be just calculator or could be just anything, print out a name. It could be just print out an animal name or something. Function can anything, right? You could just calculate the area of the triangle or the area of the circle. Could be calculate the the circumference of the circle, parallelogram, or you can do function to calculate the accounting, data ratio. You can do financial analysis. Everything is limitless. You can do anything.
Okay. Rất là lâu vô tâm. Screenshot send bro.
You can share screen. Yeah, well, you're done. You can share screen now. Oh, maybe I give like 5 more minutes.
Okay.
5 more minutes to define your function. Make sure it run. You install it, right? You already installed it. So if you not installed yet, maybe next time you don't have to share screen now. But for those who ready, you can share now. But next time, I expect everyone to have Elixir installed in order to participate in the practice. Because our title of the course was pragmatics, the Elixir API development. Do we have more people on Zoom or just us?
In the sense, oh, okay. We have like look group one with the other one.
Okay, that's fine. We get more and more people later.
Like watching. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have Elixir yet. You can write Notepad and just show to me if I see the function syntax correct. That is acceptable too. You know, you don't have to run in the terminal.
FN A with B hay the body book A book B. Which one complicated? No, maybe that's what's up. That's really complicated.
Okay, this is a lambda function and closure, right? If you want to do, you can do multiple body anonymous function too if you want. Those are more advanced than, but we get to it. But if you already know how to define multiple body function, you can do it too. Because this class is supposed to be inactive. I present a concept showing the demo, and then you guys go to do it, to to practice really. I didn't tip the timer properly. You guys have 4 more minutes. Okay, at 10:40, we'll start going through the you guys solution. Two more minutes to go. 1 minute to go. Oh man. Oh, my laptop is kind of out of power. I'll be right back. Get my charger. Oh, okay. Okay, time's up. Who wanna present first? You can just request for share and then I'll stop sharing. Okay. It might interrupt the recording. You can request for share and then oh, it's the recording. The share screen just change. Yeah, when you're ready, you can share. We could do multiple screen sharing, but I prefer one because our internet speed is not that great.
Maybe it will be detaching. Detaching. Why not be a simple thing? Not to say simply compact.
Okay, time is up. It could be simple as long as it shows that you understand it and then you can define it. Share. Time is all this up. Time is up. Yeah, everyone's supposed to stop. Yeah. Okay. Can you make it a little bit bigger? Something. Control plus. Control plus plus.
Control plus.
Yeah, control plus plus. Yep. Okay, good. Can you explain what you have?
So for me, I have one variable named f, and it is must define a number function. So the key to define a number function is fn, and I have two parameters. We have a and b, and I also code like function. We call it function body. So it starts from this this symbol
Arrow function.
arrow. So it's called like function body. So I want it to calculate a plus b, and n is the end of this function.
Okay.
So when I want to use it, I just call it n and then put the argument to assign to my parameter. So the result is 11. And for this one is the same. I just put like the result.
You just capture result
Yes.
to another variable. Okay. This is like you using fn notation. You could use another capture notation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can define one more function using capture notation. And then this is not a closure. You just define a function.
Oh, the closure.
Yeah, another closure as well. So I want to see how you know how to use closure, and then I want to know if you know how to use the fn to define anonymous function, and I also want you to know you can use the capture parameter to define function. Capture notation using the ampersand to do it. Okay, so you can stop sharing screen now. You can do Okay, anybody else want to share? It doesn't have to be super correct as long as you have what you have.
So for this, I have a function that calls sum, and the parameter is a and b,
Mhm,
and I want it to make it add a to b.
mhm.
For the result, like when we want to call it to use, we have sum and dot, and we put parameter a and b. For this, I put 1 and 2. We calculated 2, 3. For the closure, I create a double that have a function a. I wanted to make I call the add for a plus a. So when we call it, it will make put only one variable like 5. It will plus 5. So it will take.
Yeah, we call this another concept which we don't study yet. We call partial application. But it's okay. It's good that you already start start using it, which is good, which is fine. So, okay, thank you. I want to see if you know how to define functions using capture notation, and then I want to see that you define anonymous function that take multiple line of body.
Oh my God.
Yes,
The
yes.
capture notation as the below.
Oh,
Ampersand. Not ampersand. I don't think ampersand. It's a n. It's a reference. Take the. I don't think that's ampersand. It's a.
Oh,
I think it's ampersand.
yes, that's right. You call it.
Yes, it's ampersand. Yeah, I think that's ampersand. That's what it called.
let's see if they say
In C++, we call that reference, right? In Rush, in C++, C, whatever we call that reference or borrow. Okay, anybody else? Okay, you can share. Okay, does it run?
Vâng, như vậy là module là function nó hay bằngประกาศใน function មួយក៏ឃើញលើ area ដែលchúng ta đã capture នៅ variable size ចូលក្នុងហើយបានប្រកាសfunction ជាមួយ closure ដែលយក capture variable size យកមកគុណនៅក្នុង function នេះមួយហើយខ្ញុំអាចហៅ function នោះប្រើខ្លួននឹង
Okay.
Nếu chúng ta bạn đặt thì sẽ có tất cả những bạn tăng để site và print đấy và muốn để hàng tại hai function và
Hai module đó nó.
hai module một cái chúng tôi nên để vào site đấy bạn output với cứ area in square cứ site chúng tôi nên area thì bạn calculate nào.
Okay, can you run it?
The area of scale with side is 5. 5 is 25.
Okay. Okay, that worked. Thank you. Yeah, I still want to see you done the closure, you do anonymous function. Still want to see the capture notation function defined, and probably want to see the multiple line body function. See if you can do that. Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen back. Going back to the presentation. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can keep practice on your own as well. Okay, but let's talk about function and pattern matching. Okay, I have some syntax here, error here, my typo. I was function and pattern matching. So when we talk about function, we also have to talk about pattern matching because function use pattern matching to extract variable and make decision of what body it execute. Let's say we have a function that have multiple body and each line takes different number of parameter and then all. But in fact, it do the matching. It matching this variable is with the input. So you take the input, try to match it. Oh, this third line matches the input, then execute the body, processing that input. So a function is, the goal of function was taking the inputs of some sort of input and processing them and convert them to the desired output. That is probably the shortest definition of function, the most simple definition of function. But however, you can define multiple body for an anonymous function, one anonymous function, which means that it equivalent to 5 function or 6 function in a language. But here we just need one function, but each line would do the pattern matching, right? Okay, let's take one for example. Okay, the first one is just one line. Function swap is just one line. It take a tuple of A and B and then return another tuple of B and A. I just take one tuple, just take one input, but inside that input, there are multiple value. We call this tuple, right? The curly brace, close curly brace in Elixir. Tuple is just positional container that place item into the container by position. We already know that, we discussed last time. So swap is a function that swap two values of the tuple. A and B, we just swap it. So easy. It's just like you write so long in C++, and so that we just write one line. It's not fair, you know. It's like it's not fair to write a swap function just one line. Okay, we write a handle open. Handle open is a function because it starts by the keyword fn and terminated by the keyword and. But the first line, we check, we do a pattern matching. If you get the OK and file, then you get a file object, and then you get a notation say OK, which is an atom, say that okay, we process, yeah, you wanna everything going well, and you got a file object, and then you say read data, and then you use a interpolation in a string and call a function called IO read file, and then you want to read the line or whatever that function do. I have not checked the read file, the whole documentation what it does, but look like capable of reading file from end to end or any number of line. But it's just my guess. But it doesn't matter. The whole exercise here was to take a look at a function that take multiple body, multiple definition, right? So and another line was taking, you don't care the first value as long as the second value has an error objects, then you just say error, file format error, you just process that error. So this function, okay, now let's use this function. You can handle open dot, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and then inside that function, you call a file open to some path. That file exists, and then return okay file. The first line will process. If you file open and the file does not exist, you got an error, then the second line will process. How does it know? How does it know go to first line of second line of the function?
Because it go to the file that have it, if we have index, so the function
It do
is
the
not-
pattern matching.
matching.
Yeah, because it take a look at the output of the file open and then inspect them. If it match whatever parameter list that we have, then process the function body. It's easy, right? It's fairly easy to read. Okay, if any question before I go forward, I want to go slow but clear, understand. This is my first time teaching like how to read a function. Usually I just teach people how to solve problem. But this is kind of go back to the basics to help people like get into programming without much intimidation. So easy, right?
Not that hard.
Not that hard. Any question with the swap function, with the handle open function, and how we use it? Okay. This is, we have a module called greeter. Okay, greeter. Greeter is a module. Inside that module, we define a function called for, and then it take two parameters, name and greeting. And then we have anonymous function that process them. And in a assign anonymous function, we gonna we use a pin operator to pin the value of name from changing. Okay, if the value of name is if what we're looking for, then we print the greeting and the name. We do a string interpolation in there, pound, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, both of it. And then anything else cannot process. It should be just cannot process. I make the typo again. Not processing, cannot process the inputs like that. Okay. That's okay. Cannot process input. So when you do underscore, which means anything, you doesn't matter. You ignore it. We call discarded value. We're not capturing. We're not interested in this value. We know there is a value, so we just whatever value we just say cannot process.
Yeah.
This function just interested in checking the name, and then it print the greeting thing. So let's say okay, let's define this function. Okay, so this for is return a function. Okay, it's not returning the value yet. You see, this function return a function. It create a function for you. So when you say greeter.for John and Aloha, the greeting was Aloha, and then the name was John. So when you call that, it gives you a function called Mr. A. Mr. A is a function, it's not a value.
Yeah.
So you have to call Mr. A dot and then pass in John. So because when we create the function, we use the name John. When you pass in the John, does it match?
Yes. Oh,
Ye-
what's his name? Yeah.
Yes, because the pin operator say, when you define this function with the name John, and when you use it, those name must match, because I use the pin operator to pattern match it, right? So the module creator have a function called for. Their purpose was to create as a function so that we can greet people, but we're not greeting anybody. We just create the person at the time of creating a function. Let's say John is the person that we use to create this function. So John gonna be the value that matching in that pattern matching. So when we call IO puts, just print Mr. A dot John, it work. But if we do Mr. A, we say cannot process the input, right? So now practice again. Write function with multiple body to solve a problem. You guys have probably, I don't know, you have 8 minutes to do it. Yeah, 8 minutes. So when we get to 11:07, then I want you to stop.
Add one. Oh, function with my third partnership.
First, you come up with a problem, and then you write a function to solve it. You guys have 5 more minutes to go.
Phim đấu của lục xuyên vui sông. Bạn cần xem tiền câu thử này. Đi vai mà lại khác. Vai mấy chẳng bi thằng tại sao không.
You have 2 minutes. Stop sharing. You can share whenever you're ready.
I need to open restart the computer.
Somebody, my phone. Con Okay, so you can stop and then start sharing. You stop right there. But if you finish or not, it's okay. Let's go ahead and share, and then we can share and just talk through your function a little bit, and then
So for my code, it's just a simple one. So the first I define a module name, call it name checker. So the function it will do like for check any error, any file, but for this one, I just want to make it more easier to explain. So I just want to put it to three, just three options. So we have positive number if it greater than zero. It will be negative number if we what we
less than.
less than zero. It will do it will do negative number. And if the checker and then the actual
Yeah, you define 3 functions, but
Yeah.
let's do just one function, anonymous function with 3 lines of checking.
one another function, three line checking.
Yeah, just fn, and then you go down and then do the stop. You can do one function in there, but that inside that function you can do function like that, or you can
Oh,
just do
I see.
anonymous function with Doesn't have a name function.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Okay. Who else? Who else? Show. Just say F1, go down and then check parent machine and then arrow, parent machine, arrow, parent machine, arrow, right? Yes. You don't have to do 3 functions like that. That's fine. When you do real coding, you can do either way. The option that Ratana just showed is work perfectly fine. We just wanna show that you don't have to do 3 functions like that. You could just do a normal function with 3 body line. Okay, anybody wanna show? Else? I need at least one more volunteer, and then we can go to the next discussion. Anybody ready? This is easy, right?
Yeah.
So easy.
It's like
AI can do it.
Yes,
Just kidding. Chimpanzee can do it. Ape can do it. Seriously. I just have to go to Whatnot and hire some ape, some monkey to do it.
give me 2 minutes, 1 minute. But
Okay.
it's
Okay, we come back to it. We gotta keep our discussion going because we have time. I start sharing again. Okay. You guys will get better and better. Next time you will do like instead of 10 minutes, it's gonna be 1 minute or 2 minutes. It could be way better than okay.
okay, my you.
Okay. I think discussion is higher order function. What is higher order function? Higher order function is a function that can return one or more function. And a function that can accept another function as parameter. So you can pass a function to another function. And you can also return function out of that function. We all see an example when we do closure and then you have some function that create another function. You just create that function on the fly and give you that function and you use that function to do whatever you like to fit your need. So this is concept called high order function. Be careful because when I do the testing for you to get the certification, which the test will come up after you finish a couple chapters of the books. We'll make sure that I say what is high order function. Please give some example and then write some program to show it. And then you can just write that function and then show to me that you understand it and then really know the concept. Okay, let's take a look at some demo. I define a function called times 2. Okay, I take a number and then use that number times by 2. Okay, we'll double the value. Let's say you have 5, you go to 10. You have 1, you go to 2. You have 3, you go to 6. Because it's a times 2 function. A function is a lambda function that uses the keyword -n and with the word n to create it. But it doesn't have to be the same line. It could be multiple line and have multiple bodies, just like we say, see. But this is very simple. We just do it one line, right? And then you have another function called apply. The function apply is another function, but this function have 2 parameters. The first parameter is a function. The second parameter is a value. And inside the body, we call that function to transform that value. So this function is take another function as an input.
Yeah.
and then call this function inside the function to do something else. So it doesn't do things on its own. It relies on the outside function that passing in, and it doesn't matter what function. My goal here for apply just to run your function. I just run your function. Whatever function you give to me, I run it. In this case, your function is times 2. You could be division. It could be making phone call. It could be processing purchasing order. It could be, withdrawing money from the bank. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, but in this case, it's times 2. Could be calculate the price of a stock market. It could be calculate some ratio to do financial analysis. Okay, let's use the function apply. So give it a function, first parameter, which is time 2. Is time 2 function?
Yes.
Yes, and phi is a value. So now when you use it, it will run the function time 2 with phi. You're supposed to get a value of 10, right? Because the argument was phi, and the first argument is times 2. Okay, so we're very flexible. See, you could have a function to do whatever you like, and you pass it to another function and give it a value and ask them to process it at its own time. Okay, do it at your own time. We also call this function a callback function. Yeah, we just call your function. We don't care. So we call callback function. Okay, let's take a look at the list. I have a list of number I call excess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have a enum module of Elixir standard library, and then have a map function. A map function is take the collection of data and take a function. And for each item of that data in the collection, it apply that function. It run that function on it to transform the value. So in this case, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and pass them in. And then we go through the loop. We go through 1, and then it run the function. The function is what? Times by 2. Okay. 1 by 2 is 2. Okay. And then 2 by 2 is 4. 3 by 2 is 6. 4 by 2 is 8. 5 by 2 is 10. After it done, it return back the collection of data with the value transform, with the transform value. So you got a new list with different value. So the map function does not change data. It transforms data. It creates a new collection out of the old collection and apply the function that you pass in on each item to transform those data. Got it? Easy, right? So easy. You don't understand map function, you are absolutely trouble because we use it everywhere. But map function, it's in JavaScript, it's in Elixir, it's in any language. Their goal was to go through the collection one item at a time, apply the function on those items. At the end, we build a new collection of lists or new collection, whatever collection, and then returning it. If you give it whatever you give it in, you get it back with the same data structure. You give it a list, give back a list, give you something else, give you something else, unless you transform it to something else. You have something called enum into to transform it into a different data structure. In Elixir, we can transform it into a different data structure using enum into. But in this case, we want to keep the same data structure. We want to pass in the list, get back the list. but the list value got transformed into a new list, and the old list was not modified because we want to keep things immutable, which means it's not changeable for the old list. Okay, another map taking xs and then raise it to square, which is for each item, time it by itself, right? So you get a new list, but the value also change. But instead of change it by twice as much, we change it by square. Yeah, let's 5, you go to 25. You're not gonna go to 10. 5 times 2 is 10, but 5 times 5 is 25, which is 5 squared. Okay, and then the third in the map is that take that collection of value for each item, we go through it, and then return any item that greater than 4. So only one item got returned back. The rest of item was dropped. So the new collection doesn't have all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was wrong. Sorry. This is return a list of Boolean value, not return of the list of value. So if we return a true or false. So is 1 greater than 4? No, it's false. 2 greater than 4. Second item become a false. Third item false. Fourth item false. 5 item was true. So return a list of Boolean value. I was wrong. It was not a predicate to drop the list unless we call it a drop. For map function, it just return the output of that function for each item. In this case, our function is a Boolean function that returns true or false. Because it take an input, check if it's greater than 4. If it's greater than 4, it's true. Otherwise, it's gonna be false. Right? Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is very interesting here. Okay, we have function f1. Function f1 is a function, but it takes another function. And that function is not defined yet. We define it just right here as well. And then it returns that function. Okay, so this f1 is a function that return function. So if you call f1 dot call it parentheses thing, it gives you another function, and then you call it again, then you got the output hello. But when you call it one time, you do not get the value yet. You get the function. In this case, we return function out a function. We call it high order function. Okay, any question here? Does it look interesting? You call it 1, you got a function. Call it twice, you get a value. Because that function return function. Yeah, because that function return function, you call it 1, it give you the function. Until you call the function, that function get the final value to you. It's a very interesting concept. This one might show up in the test because it's so interesting and so beautiful, right? Very beautiful function. Function that return function, and that function return a value. Very interesting. Okay, practice, your turn. Use high order function to solve a problem. You gotta have 10 minutes. Okay. Write function that create function, or write function that accept function as input, and then do something, or write function that return function out of it, and then use that function to do something. So we call them high order function to solve problem. Yeah, you have any question about, while doing it, just let me know. But you know what is higher order function, right? Okay. Just make sure that you understand the concept before practicing it. For example, you have a function that say calculate, but this function doesn't know anything. It just take the value and the functions do something. And then you can do a calculate price, you can do a calculate commission, you can do a calculate birthday, whatever, and then you pass to it. The calculate function just run it and then give you the output, right? But this function is a general purpose function that can do anything because it take one function and input and process them. That's just one example. Any question, anything that you don't understand? Yeah, you cannot do this simple thing. You cannot do real world programming, right? This is like maybe ABC, but it's very useful. This is very useful exercise. I think our course is finished at what? 11:30?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, we should finish on time. We don't.
How many slides do you have to go?
Yeah, next time I prepare. But I mean, we should go slide, but because I give you guys time, too much practice, right? Let me keep going, see. But where? Okay, that's a summary. That's the last one. Okay, I'll keep that exercise using for the, at your own practice. To summarize the course today, we talk about anonymous function or lambda function.
Yeah.
We talk about closure. We talk about function and pattern matching, and we talk about higher order function. Here's your homework. So you do some research into immutability. What is the concept of immutable in the Elixir? What is module and name function? You need to know how to define module and define function, but instead of anonymous function, you define a real function name inside the module. God classes is like in the function, we can also check the value before we actually run the body of the function using when something blah blah blah, when something is not right, when this input is acceptable, then do something. When it's input incorrect, don't run this function. So the function that have the proper input passing that God and then it run it. Default parameter, how you define default parameters for the function. A private function, how to define private function, and how to use a pi operator to pass the input from one function to the next in a pipeline, in a chain. You could have called 5 function, one input, and then in the process, that input keep changing. But you don't have to say that input the first position of that function is accepted input. Yeah.
This one process, it came to the next one.
Yeah.
From this, it came to the next one.
Yeah.
Until you do
Until you're done, until you have your output. Let's say you have a list of user, you go to the process, the next function, take the first name, last name, create the password for the user, and then the next function gotta generate the token, and then the last function send email to user, things like that. Keep going through the pipe until the process is done. All right, so if you have the book, read, looking for this topic here in the books. I'm not sure what chapter it is, but just find this chapter in the book and read it, and then find the value. There's probably a quiz at the beginning of class next session.
Yes.
We're gonna have a question for you to complete. I'll send the quiz, but this is a topic you guys supposed to research by the next session. I'll stop sharing and then finish the course. Thank you, everyone.